Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to learn a very simple but essential pattern, the Two Rook Checkmate, also known as the staircase mate, the ladder mate, or the lawnmower mate. If you want to be able to finish a chess game when you have a clear advantage, this is a technique you absolutely must know. I will show you simple, step-by-step method to force the opponent king to the edge of the board and secure the win, even in a time scramble. But let's first see what we're trying to achieve at the end with a Two Rook Checkmate. Here you can see one of possible checkmating positions, with one rook controlling the 6th rank and other rook controlling the 7th rank. Notice that black king has nowhere to go and the checkmate in one move follows. Please pause the video and find this checkmate in one move. Okay, here the rook b8 will checkmate in one move. Notice that at the final position, both the 7th rank and the 8th rank are controlled by the white rooks. Okay, let's go to the next checkmating situation. On this board, we have another checkmating possibility with one rook attacking the f file and the other one controlling the g file. Black king is restricted and the checkmate in one move follows. Please pause the video and find this checkmate in one move. Okay, here the rook h2 move will checkmate immediately. Notice that at the final position, both the g file and h file are controlled by the white rooks. Now, let's go and look at several examples that will show us how to deliver checkmate with two rooks from any position. Here is our first longer example with a black king comfortably sitting in the middle of the board. To eventually checkmate it, we need to force the black king to the edge of the board. Which edge? Doesn't really matter. For example, in this position, we can easily force black king to the 8th rank or to the h file. Still, to checkmate efficiently, our first mental step should be to decide on the exact direction of the black's king travel. Let's set our goal here as a checkmate on the 8th rank. Our next step would be to form a wall with one of our rooks. Here the wall already exists. It's on the 3rd rank, because one of our rooks controls the line. Next, we will force the black king to the 8th rank with checks. To do so, our rooks will take turns moving. One rook will give a check, while the other rook will stay back to maintain the wall. Let's say black king goes to d5, and we keep going in this pattern. Once we force the black king to the last row, it becomes a checkmate, with one rook controlling the 8th rank and checking king, and other rook preventing king from escaping by controlling the 7th rank. Notice that in this technique we didn't need our king to do anything. Our king is basically on vacation. It simply sits in the corner and watches how our rooks deliver checkmate on their own. Let's go to our next example. Did you notice that in the previous example, the black king was cooperating with us by moving to the last rank without providing any resistance? But what if the black king stops cooperating and starts fighting with our rooks by attacking them at some moment? Let's see how it can happen. We go and try to force king to the last row, but black king moves to c6. Now, if we try to check with our rook to b6, we lose this rook. How to stop such attacks? There are two ways. Simple one would be just to move rooks to other side. Move one rook, then move other rook. And black king can do nothing. Remember, in chess the king is a slowpoke. It moves only one square at a time. The rook, in contrast, is a fast runner. zipping quickly from one side of the board to the other. Here black king is stuck on other side, and we're quickly delivering checkmate with our rooks. Okay, another way to stop such attacks would be to connect and protect. Instead of moving our rooks to other side, we keep them on the same side and just connecting them. Connect and protect. Now king steps away, we check, king attacks our rook, we connect and protect. And then we just repeat the same pattern, and eventually checkmate happens on the last row. Okay, let's go to our next example. Here the rooks are sitting at the opposite sides of the board. The technique, however, stays the same. For some change, let's force a black king to the H file here. How do we start? First, we form the wall with one of our rooks on D file. Let's do it. We put rook to D2. Next, we take under control E file. Okay, let's say king moves to F3, trying to prevent our rook F2 move. Okay, let's move rook to other side. King comes closer. We check. King comes closer. Check. King comes closer. We switch rook to other side. And finally, we checkmate on the H file. Let's go to our next example. It's white to move. How would you play? Please pause the video and think before we go ahead. Okay, here the black king tries to get one of our rooks with a fork by attacking both rooks diagonally at the same time. However, we can easily stop such attack by connecting our rooks on the same file or rank. For example, we can play rook c e6, or rook c c4, or rook e e6, or rook e c4. In any case, our rooks will stay protected and connected. Let's choose one of these moves. Let's play this move. King moves to d6, this is the only available option. Let's separate our rooks, go to our different sides. King tries to catch up. Now let's switch rook to other side and do usual staircase technique with delivering the checkmate on the last ring. Let's go to our next example. It's white to move. How would you play? Please pause the video and think. Okay, this position is very tricky. It looks like a stalemate, but it's not a stalemate because it's white to move, and white has many moves available in this position. But numerous moves do lead to a stalemate. For example, such moves as rook a7, or rook g1, or king b2 are all resulting in a stalemate. The best way to play here would be to start with check, rook h7. Now black king has only one move, it goes to g8. Now we're separating rooks. We're moving our rook to the left, black king has only one option, and we can deliver checkmate in one move in two possible ways, either rook h8 or rook a8. Let's go with rook h8 here, and checkmate is delivered. Let's go to our next example. It's white to move. How would you play? Please pause the video and think. Okay, at the moment white has a small 1-point material advantage because the two rooks cost slightly more than one queen. But white has a forced way to win the black queen starting from rook d1 move. Then the series of checks follows, black queen is taken, and the checkmate on a file happens. Let's go to our final example. It's white to move. How would you play here? Please pause the video and think. Okay, in this position white has 2-point material advantage and a very strong pawn on e7. If white plays rook f8, we secure pawn promotion. Let's say black queen moves away, we promoting queen. Let's say black decides to trade immediately. Now we have 2 extra rooks and usual staircase technique. Let's push king toward a file. Let's switch rook and go finish king. Here, let's connect rooks and deliver the checkmate. No more examples. Now you know how to checkmate with 2 rooks. The key thing to remember is that you should use your rooks together to control the lines and force the king to the edge of the board. Try practicing this checkmate against a computer program or a friend. And please let me know in the comments how it goes. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more chess tips and lessons. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.